Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/AskReddit. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. What's something that you've done while horny and you regret it? Drove 1,200 miles. At least you didn't walk 500 miles. Asked my wife if she was interested in us getting a butt plug. She gave me a confused look and said, if you're into it, sure, and then after purchasing realized that we both had different ideas on who it was for. So, did it hurt? When I was about 12 to 13, I had just learned about sex. One day I was super horny and was playing with my dad's back massager. I quickly realized that it felt really good to press it on my dick. I took it into my bedroom and went to town. My mom was walking by and heard the noise, so she just let herself in. Needless to say, things were weird after that for a bit, and she hid the massager. $10 says that was your mom's sex toy. Yep, that was definitely your dad's back massager. Try again. When I was a stupid teen, I put an ice cube in my vagina. My reasoning was that if hot water felt nice, maybe something extremely cold would. It did not feel nice, it was horrible, and I couldn't remove it. 3 minutes of agony. Me too. I heard on the internet that ice cubes were good, so I tried it. It was horrible. I didn't even feel anything, it just hurt and cold water just kept coming. You should have then added hot water and watched them balance. Using shampoo to jerk off. Worst piss pain ever. Just use conditioner, so much better. Wait, is that why my piss hurts? I was edging for 3 hours. Had the idea that tying my dick with a shoelace would hold everything together for at least another hour. It held on for 2 and nuts so hard I felt some pain on my abdomen and legs. Took me an extra hour to sleep, and the next day my whole body was fatigued. Thought I twisted my testicle or some shit. I recovered after around 48 hours. I loved how scientific the ending was. That nut only comes around every couple decades, respect the nut. In my early teen years, I accidentally made my clit burn using Vicks VapoRub that was supposed to give it a tingling sensation. I watched way too much BDSM and got ideas. I was in immense pain and was lying spread out under cold water to try and make it stop, and I couldn't tell my extremely religious parents or they would have freaked out. I watched a lot of BDSM porn, but when I tried that stuff, it hurt, is like the quintessential answer to this question. Me and my friend were supposed to take a visiting foreign professor for drinks. After a couple of beers, the guy told us that he wanted to see some women. We took him to a softcore strip club. After the first beer, the guy said that he wanted something more extreme. Prostitution is legal in my country, and we took the guy to probably the largest bar with sex workers of our city. It was a bizarre place, and after a few minutes our reputable visiting academic sealed the deal with a lady. The guy went with the lady to her room and came back after about 15 minutes. Suddenly the guy said that he was tired and wanted to head back to his hotel. On the ride back, the guy started weeping and telling us about his family and giving us advice about why we should love and respect our partners. I had never seen so much post-nut regret in my life. Sad guy. Maybe confessing his post-nut regret is his kink. Not my story, but my old band mates. So here we have a horny teenager. He was maybe 16 at the time, and he just came out as gay this year. He had been experimenting, and we were brothers, so he would always overshare these experiences. Well, one day he tells me he had made a huge mistake. He really wanted to know what something bigger than his fingers felt like, and he had heard of people using cucumbers as dildos. That said, he only had pickles at home. He did not, however, account for the vinegar and spices. I don't know the pain he felt, but I do know he regretted it immediately. That is not the direction I thought that was going. Oh no. Asked an escort to come over to my house at 2 a.m. instead of jerking off like you know for free. Well, she and 3 other guys ended up kicking in my door and robbing me in my house. 0/10 never again. I'm just a innocent 22 yo, but come on dude, hotel room. Almost got a bar of soap stuck in my booty hole. How? If it doesn't flare, don't put it up there. At least you were spared from the ER. Got jizz in my ear, ended up with an ear infection. Try explaining to a doctor what the foreign liquid is in your ear when you're 15. Hey guys, thank you for the awards and upvotes. For clarification, this happened in 1987 and was purely accidental. And that is how you get hearing aids. Like someone else's jizz, or did you have a friendly fire incident? Tried to suck my own dick while taking a bath while with hips up. Surprise surprise, tubs are slippery, and I ended up with my neck caught under my arm as I did a back roll and landed on my side. Involuntarily gasped in pain and began to choke on water. Almost drowned in my own fucking bathtub. My neck also hurt like hell for a week. Could have been worse. Could have came into your own mouth, and then have to deal with that within the instant post-nut clarity. Sex with my ex, the same day I moved out. We had broken up earlier, but it took a couple of months before I managed to find a place to move all my stuff. Afterwards, I just laid there and hugged her hard, didn't want to let go. Just laid there in a cuddly mess for half an hour, covered in sweat and other bodily fluids, but most of all, tears. I don't know why the fuck I did that to myself. It was supposed to make us both feel better and relieve stress, but it was just torture. I should have just left much earlier. Preferably when she wasn't at home. That sounds rough. I hope things worked out well for you both. Emotionally damaging sex is the best, until you come. Was at bar, ran into the hot girl from high school, she was still hot. We hit it off, had fun for the night, gave her a ride home. I was super horny and thought this was gonna be amazing. She did not invite me inside, so I just went home sad but still horny. So proceeded to pull on the old cum dispenser. Had a great time, felt way better. As I was cleaning up, she calls me and wants me to come over because she is lonely. I think, hey, I might still have some spunk left in my junk. I head over, we start getting frisky, and I cannot make the soldier stand to attention. She crying, thinking it's her fault. I tell her what happened and we try again, still can't get it to wake up. Between the alcohol and my balls empty, he was just a limp noodle. She asked me to leave and felt like a pile of shit. Never did hear from her again. You know those silicone-s things they have in sex shops for like $300? When I was in Montreal in my sophomore year of college, I tried to buy one. My debit card got declined, so I didn't buy it. I got a call from my dad that evening saying someone in Montreal must have stole it from me, and I had to do the talk of shame explaining that I really did do that. My dude, I'd have agreed and cancelled my card, NGL. I'm imagining a raunchy yet wholesome Christmas morning where you unwrap your gift, and it's a silicone ass. You look over to your dad in glee and say, "Ah, Dad." You remembered as he brightly smiles and lifts up his glass of cognac. Deep heat. Let me tell you now, ladies and gents, it is not a warming sensation on your most sensitive parts. Post-application, I immediately ran to the bathroom, with the remnants of my smoldering member in my hand. Was telling my GF at the time on the telephone later that day, my dad must have overheard. Next time I was hosting a few friends, he walked into my room and said something along the lines of, "Fellas, you be careful on your application of deep heat," and walked out. Hooked up with a coworker who looked like Mr. Bean. She was a girl. Did you flick the bean? Using the twin percussion handheld back massager on my dick. NGL, it felt really fucking good. But it left a lingering tender feeling that had me walking funny for a bit. Happened when I was but a wee mid-teen. I thought I was the only crazy bastard that did this. Her name was Annie, and she stalked me for 2 years after that. This Annie doesn't seem much okay to me. Not me, but a friend. He drove to another city to lose his virginity. He was up all night with the girl, so he fell asleep on the ride home. Totaled his car. He told his parents he was staying at my house overnight. So it was awkward conversation when he had to call his parents to explain why he totaled his car about 100 miles from home. For those reading, there is no shame in pulling over to get a nap in. Never understood why people risk it. I had to do it on a 12-hour road trip. About hour 8 I was feeling tired, where I was having to force my eyes to stay open. Pulled over to a rest stop. Parked near the back, texted my parents, thought I was going to be running a few hours late, and took a 2-hour-long nap. IDK. Anytime I go on a porn binge and have post-nut clarity on some bizarre shit. Been there many a time, brother. Yep. 1 second you're watching 2 girls do some mild scissoring, next think you know you're watching a girl taking it from a group of guys in dinosaur costumes on the side of the road. Fucked my landlord. He lived in the same building on the floor below me with his ex-fiancée. It was actually pretty fun until he started monitoring when I was home and knocking on my door when he knew I was home alone. Had to put an end to that real quick. My only regret is not getting a discount on rent, sad face. I've seen this one. I 100% expected the rent discount was the whole point. Enthusiastically went home with a guy who said he had a dog, he had two. Found out from a friend the next and he had just gotten out of jail for homicide. I don't understand the relevance of the dogs. 5 years ago. Boss recruited someone new and introduced them via a WhatsApp group before we met them. New recruit and I started chatting in WhatsApp before we ever met, and I took it too far too fast. Went to meet him that night. I was deeply not attracted to him, and his home was horror story dirty and cluttered. I accepted his weak offer for alcohol, and got drunk really fast to avoid facing reality. I felt too bad for him to leave, but I knew the alcohol would help me. Help him. The sex ended up being one of the best I ever had to date, but he is such a gross person, hygiene and personality. I regret everything about the way it happened. Same year, swimming in self-hatred, I also fucked the boss of that job. 2 regrets for the price of 1. You're welcome. Jesus. In today's time, you are a walking lawsuit for businesses. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.